Different poison. Manufactured records.
It's like a light is in my face, but I can't fall for you. I close my eyes and drift away. I've overdosed on you. Then you wake up dead one day.
The Jurassic Coast is a World Heritage Site on the English Channel coast of southern England. The site spans 185 million years of geological history, coastal erosion having exposed an almost continuous sequence of rock formation covering the Triassic, Jurassic and Cretaceous periods. At different times, this area has been a desert, shallow tropical sea and marsh, and the fossilized remains of the various creatures that lived here have been preserved in the rocks. Natural features seen on this stretch of the coast include arches, pinnacles and stacked rocks. In some places, the sea has broken through resistant rocks to produce coves with restricted entrances. We are here to investigate several locations along the coastline to capture any kind of paranormal activity. We will be travelling to the following locations: Highcliffe Castle, Knowlton Chapel, Corfe Castle, East Weir Battery, the Norman House, Christchurch, Tyneham Village, Portland Castle, and ending at our final destination at Hurst Castle. We have hired a caravan and will be staying at Milford-upon-Sea for 7 days, where we will travel to these locations to carry out daytime investigations. I will be joined by Jackie, who has a gift for filming orbs. Hastings Castle, built by William of Normandy in 1066 and renowned for its famous battle, is where Jackie caught her first footage of orbs, which was filmed down in the dungeons. This is the original footage that was taken, followed by the footage enhanced. We travel to our first location, Highcliffe Castle. Highcliffe Castle is situated on the cliffs at Highcliffe. It was built between 1831 and 1835 by Charles Stewart. The site of Highcliffe House is a Georgian mansion designed for the incorporated large quantities of carved medieval stonework. Highcliffe Castle is a Grade 1 listed building now owned by Christchurch Council, and is described as the most important remaining example of romantic and picturesque style of architecture. After our walkthrough of the castle, we find a section which is having renovations taking place and decide to set up in this area. We place a digital recorder on the table and ask any spirits to communicate by talking into the device. Jackie and I take a seat, and after a few minutes we hear a disembodied voice saying, "Come." Here's the audio taken from the recorder. As I go closer to film in this area, I see an orb move in front of me. Here's the footage enhanced and in slow motion. Come on. Can we see you again? What was that?
Someone said something.
What's happened, Jack? What's happening to you?
Someone said, come on, did you hear them? I've gone all goose pimply. Did you hear it though?
Yeah. A voice is heard for the second time repeating the word, come. And when Jackie asked me if I heard it, an EVP is also captured, saying the word, yes. Come on. Can we see you again?
What was that?
What was that?
Someone said something.
What's happened, Jack? What's happening to you?
Someone said, come on, did you hear them? I've gone all goose pimply. Did you hear it though?
Yeah. After this, no more evidence was caught, so we made our way through the countryside to Knowlton Chapel. Surrounded by a Neolithic earthwork, the hollow shell of Knowlton Chapel is one of the most atmospheric places in Dorset. The ruins are located in the centre of a pagan circle which was built in the 12th century. Sacred standing stones were broke up and used in the construction of the chapel. We carried out several EVP sessions in and around the church. It is said that this location is one of the most haunted places in Dorset, but unfortunately, after reviewing all film that was taken and digital audio, no evidence was captured. The following day, we make our way to Tyneham Village. To get there, we will have to cross the Haven Ferry before carrying on our journey. Tyneham Village is known as a ghost town. In November 1943, notice was given to the villagers that they would be required to leave within 28 days as the area would be needed for forces training. On the 17th of December 1943, the last villagers left, believing that one day they would be able to return. Sadly, this never happened. All of their belongings still lay inside the town as if they all disappeared without trace. The intervening years have taken their toll. Only the church and schoolhouse remain intact. With names on the pegs and schoolwork on the desks, it feels as if it was only minutes ago the children were here. We decide to focus our investigation on the schoolhouse. Inside the schoolhouse, I filmed for some time. but I see or capture nothing. Jackie joins me, and as soon as she starts filming, orbs appear. One rises up in front of the camera, followed by another one which is green in colour, which disappears into the bookcase. An early start sets us on our way to the village of Christchurch, the Norman House. Constructed in 1160 for the Lord of Christchurch, it was built from stone rather than timber, which has ensured its preservation until today. I carried out an EVP session, asking question after question, and eventually a voice is caught on my digital recorder. I ask, "Who is inside this house?" and a voice repeats what I have just said. Here's the enhanced audio. Who's here inside this house? Who's here inside this house? It was time to now move on to Corfe Castle. We finally arrive at Corfe Castle. Corfe Castle is a fortification standing above the village of the same name. Built by William the Conqueror, the castle dates back to the 11th century and commands a gap in the Purbeck Hills en route between Warham and Swanage. Corfe Castle underwent major structural changes in the 12th and 13th centuries. In 1572, Corfe Castle left the Crown's control with Elizabeth I. It was then sold to Sir Christopher Hatton. Sir John Banks bought the castle in 1635 and was the owner during the English Civil War. His wife, Lady Mary Banks, led the defence of the castle when it was twice besieged by parliamentarian forces. The first siege in 1643 was unsuccessful, but by 1645, Corfe was one of the last remaining royalist strongholds in the southern England and fell to a siege ending in an assault. In March that year, Corfe Castle was demolished by Parliament's orders. Owned by the National Trust, the castle is open to the public and in 2010 received around 190,000 visitors. It is protected as a Grade 1 listed building and is an ancient monument. Okay, here's your chance to speak, to say something so I can hear you. Can you tell me your name? Prove to everyone. Prove to everyone that you're here, that you're still here inside this castle. If you can't speak to me, can you make a noise inside this room? Eventually, we catch an EVP. After I ask what is your name and the answer I receive is Boris. Here's the audio enhanced. Let me see you. Let me see you. Let me see you. Are you here? If you can hear my voice, make a noise. If you can hear my voice, make a noise. If you can hear my voice, make a noise.
We're just about to hit the casino for the night on Milford-upon-Sea. Top class accommodation. Okay. I'm going to win loads and loads of money here. Big bucks. Big bucks. Ready? Oh, it's a sit up. Come on, come on. Keep it going. Come on, come on. Oh!
There's no way back, like a second attack is on. We're looking good as we're nearing the combat zone. System check, enemy radar on. It's all clear for the meantime. The front, there's a party on the flight deck. We're up our heads with the rush of the sound check. Repeat to fate, repeat to fate. This is our dawn raid. On the hand parade.
Security is so tight here that even the chalk on the pool tables are chained.
Portland Castle is an artillery fort constructed by Henry VIII and was built between 1539 and 1541. It was built to protect against the invasion from France and the Holy Roman Empire. The fan-shaped castle was built from Portland stone, with a carved central tower and a gun battery flanked by two angular wings. Shortly after its construction, it was armed with 11 artillery pieces intended for use against the enemy shipping operating in partnership with its sister castle of Sandsfoot on the other side of the anchorage. During the English Civil War, Portland was taken by the royalist supporters of King Charles I and then survived 2 sieges before finally surrendering to Parliament in 1646. Portland continued in use as a fort until the end of the Napoleonic Wars in 1815, when it was then converted into a private house. After a few hours of filming, moving from room to room, we capture an orb moved from the ceiling towards the floor. Here is the original footage, followed by the footage enhanced and in slow motion. It is now a short journey of around 1 mile to a place that I've always wanted to investigate, the East Weir Battery. East Weir Battery was a gun battery to the east of the Verne Citadel on the Isle of Portland. The battery was built in the 1860s as a result of the Royal Commission to guard the new Portland Harbour and Royal Navy institutions on the island. The battery camp was built as a detention barracks for military service. Later the camp was converted to Coast Guard use in 1914. This location is also known as the Ghost Tunnels, as reports state that many apparitions have been seen and disembodied voices are also heard coming from within the tunnels. Are there any soldiers here? If so, can you tell us your name? People call these the ghost tunnels because they say that you're still here and people have seen you here. Could you do something to let us know that you can hear my voice? Move something? Throw something? What year was you stationed here at this battery? It wasn't open for long. It closed in 1906. What year was you here? We catch our first EVP, a voice saying, "I stole again." Here's the audio taken from the digital recorder. People say that they've seen you here inside the tunnels. Can you show yourself to us? The digital recorder picks up another EVP saying, "Who's in the tunnel?" A voice is captured saying, "I am on the wall." This will have relevance which is not known at this point, because a few minutes later I asked Jackie if she was filming in the direction of the opposite wall as I see a shadow figure move. Who was in charge here? Who ran this battery? What was his name? When you was pointing your camera then, Jack, is your camera focused on that wall as well? Or was it out of shot?
I think it's slightly more.
It's just that I saw something up on that wall. And it's not my shadow, because my shadow is here. At this moment, I see the shadow figure standing against the wall, but unfortunately it is just out of the view of the camera, but the digital recorder is picking up an EVP saying, "We're on top." We completed our investigation inside the ghost tunnels and made the long drive back. There is one last investigation to carry out, so it was time to get some sleep as another ferry journey was awaiting us in the morning. On our final investigation, we go by a ferry to our last location, Hurst Castle. The castle was built in 1541 by Henry VIII and is one of a chain of artillery defences protecting key ports and landing places around southern England from continental attack. The strategic location of Hurst saw it develop into a powerful fortress. On occasion, it was also used as a prison, most famously when Charles I was briefly held captive here during the Civil War. In the 1860s, the Great Wing batteries were added as part of a new program of new defences, turning this part of the coast into one of the most heavily fortified areas in the world. In the First and Second World Wars, the castle was fully garrisoned, its searchlights and guns guarding the western entrance to the Solent against attack from the sea and air. Is anyone here? We start off filming on our phones to see if we can capture any orbs. Finally, I see an orb inside one of the rooms as it comes from the ceiling towards the floor. Here's the footage slowed down and enhanced. What's happening, Jack?
They're flying all over the place. They've got loads of them.
Who's in here? Who's inside this room?
There's loads just flying from that wall.
Can you say your name? Please say your name. Jackie is now filming orbs in the adjacent room. I capture nothing on my film even though I'm standing in the same place. Here's the footage of Jackie's film showing the orbs as they move in front of her. We make our way down to the dungeon and tunnels beneath the castle, and as we enter through the doorway, a woman's voice is heard saying, "I see you." Here's the audio enhanced. If anyone's here, can they come and speak to me, please? Are you one of the soldiers that was based here? Who's down here? Say something, do something. Let me hear you. A voice is recorded on my digital recorder telling me to keep the lights out. Here's the enhanced audio.